Good evening and welcome to another edition of Broken Not Shattered. This is your host Ike Webily and my co-host Obi, who is back in Lagos, Nigeria. Our topic this evening is a very interesting one. It's about life and life itself, and so we want to bid a big welcome to all our audience across North America, those of them in the sub-Saharan Africa, including Nigeria, Ghana, and Cameroon, and we've also noticed a big fellowship of our family in the UK. We want to welcome all of you back in again. And to the folks in the Middle East, Obi, we now have Saudi Arabia, Qatar following us on this great platform. To God be all the glory. What's up, buddy? How you
Yes,
doing, my man? You look nice and fresh as usual.
I'm good.
So today we're going to look at, we're talking about the journey of life. Just before we came on, you and I were having a chat about life and its journey. And
Yeah.
people always say that, oh, life is a journey, life is a journey. Um, I guess the journey really is depends on how long you've lived, right? Because every stage of your life is a different journey, right? Or is every stage of the life the same journey as you keep on going on and just interacting at different phases of life? I don't know. I don't have all the answers to this, but I guess our audience can chime in as they go along. But let me hear what your thoughts are, Obi. The journey of life. What's your perspective?
Okay, so like we earlier looked at it, for me, I agree to the fact that life is a journey, and it is a journey that has a destination, which, to a large extent, we can agree that death is the destination. And now, this is how I see life. It is a journey filled with experiences. Now, I'll give you an instance. Um, if you're driving to a destination, there are incidences that occur in the course of that journey, and that is life. So think of what you might encounter driving to a destination when you're driving. And that is how life is generally. It is filled with experience. So that you're not the only one driving on that road means you're going to encounter different experiences. There might be pedestrians, what do I call it? There might be people walking that you need to avoid. There might be other vehicles that you might need to be careful with. There might be people who are not okay, who might jump into you, or anything can happen on that journey. And that is how life is. So it throws at you both good and the bad. But there is an end point, which is the destination where you're headed to. And this life differs from individuals.
Hmm. Okay, so there's something you said when we started. You actually said that life is a journey and death is
The
the
destination.
destination. Is death really the destination? Is death really the destination? Does life itself terminate?
Yes.
Does life really terminate at the point when you exit this matrix? I don't think so. But
So for me, you like Grit, you just said exit this matrix, right?
Mhm.
So we know the for us, except it is proven otherwise, the exit is death, and that is what we are looking at, the destination.
No,
The exit at the point of
but
exit is
mhm.
death, which everybody must get to, and that what there might be a continuation beyond, but that is not the concern for us who are living for the now. The destination is that everybody will come to a point of exit. So we will all this life will always drive us to the point where we are done with this life. So whatever we call the exit becomes it.
But if scripture tells us that
Okay.
we live forever, right? We live forever. Your soul lives forever, right? Um, then forever is forever, right? So forever. No, hold on. Forever means forever, right? So that means when you get to a certain age, right, and you transit,
Yes.
or let's just make it easier, you relocate,
Mhm.
right? It is not the question of existence is never in question. That man will exist forever. It's never. It's not a matter of whether you're a believer or not a believer, whether you're white or black, whether you're tall or short. We will all live forever.
Okay.
The question is that of location. Where does your own forever continue to when you exit this place? Like you now, you're based in Lagos, right? I'm based here in the
Mhm.
Washington, D.C. area, correct?
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
So you're miles away from where I am. You're existing there and I'm existing here, right?
Mhm.
Tomorrow I get up, I gotta get out and start my daily journey. You get up
Okay.
and start yours, right?
Okay.
At the
Okay.
end of the day, we're just living, existing in this space.
Okay.
We're living, existing in this space, but nobody's
I'm with you.
actually at a point where they feel like it's time for them to get off, because the journey automatically will continue regardless. So what then happens is the journey continues regardless of the destination. So your point is, my question to you then, does the journey ever end? That was my question.
Okay. Okay. Fine. I like that. I also liked the fact that you mentioned your soul lives forever. Do you remember when you mentioned that?
Yes, I did. Mhm.
Okay. So when we talk of life, for me, I believe we're talking about this flesh,
Okay.
which
Okay.
the same scripture you made reference to also said it is appointed unto man to do what? That I'm trying to paraphrase. So that man lives to at a certain point, man dies.
Okay.
You getting me?
Hmm.
At some point you're born,
Right.
then at some point you will die and move. And that establishes the point that this flesh would for one day die. And then when we talk of the journey of life, we're referring to this flesh that had a beginning, which was the point of birth, and we also have an exit,
Which is the point
which
of.
will be the point of death.
Okay. All right.
And now, like you said, I live in Lagos, you live over there. Our journey will definitely differ. So it's like one on a road trip, the other on a flight, the other on the sea. We
Okay.
will definitely have experience, but our experience will definitely differ. Now,
Okay.
how we manage our experience to get to our destination is now what is important.
Okay. So is it how we manage our experiences to get to our destination that makes the difference, or is it how we enjoy the experiences, while heading towards our destination?
And that's management.
No, so it's a question.
Mm-hmm.
The question I want you to answer is it okay? Let me take away the question from you. Let me just tell you what I feel, right? How about right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
my own perspective is there isn't a destination, like you said. Okay, so we've come to agree that okay, there's an exit from this world into the next phase, right? This matrix, you get out of it, go to next matrix, right? We've
Yeah.
agreed on that one.
Yeah.
The difference is how we enjoy the ride, how we enjoy the journey, how
Yes.
we look at those experiences
Mm-hmm.
while going through that journey of life,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, my
Exactly.
question to you then is that's the
Okay.
difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
One man loses his wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
whole life spins around and is completely
Mm-hmm.
destroyed, right?
Yes. Yes.
Another man loses his wife and
Mm-hmm.
reflects on the fact that he has lost his wife
Mm-hmm.
and takes that grief,
Mm-hmm.
right,
Mm-hmm.
to strengthen himself, to encourage other men
Mm-hmm.
to go through that same
Mm-hmm.
experience.
I'm with you, please.
I think you need to terminate that call. Cut your phone off.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's the experience. It's the experience, right? It's what we
Yeah.
do with it that makes the difference. Are you in
Okay.
agreement with me?
I'm,
Right?
I'm in agreement with you. Yes.
So then what we do with it is now dependent on your own perspective,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
A man meets woman, everybody's happy, you say I do, with the
Okay.
intent to live forever.
Yes.
Somewhere along the line, both parties or one party says, this I do no more,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they exit. Somebody exits and turns that whole experience into something that can encourage others. Somebody exits and is disgruntled and remains disgruntled for life.
Sure.
What determines the outcome? Is it the experience or what you've done with the experience? That's my question to you.
Okay. You're saying what determines the outcome,
Yeah,
right? What
yeah,
determines the outcome? Now, what determines the outcome and also what makes a difference is how I want to use the word manage,
okay,
because it is how you manage that determines what result you get
okay,
for different experiences. It still boils down to management. Now, what it throws at you. Now, remember, there was something you said, and I need to maybe add to it so that we understand this better.
okay,
You were talking about beyond. Now, there are several with different beliefs. I don't want to dive into that. That different beliefs have their own beyond,
okay,
and I'm not going to look into that. Why some beyond have their requirement for life.
okay,
But however you look at it, if there is any beyond after life or at the point of exit, it still boils down to how you're able to manage at what life throws at you. So in management, how you manage will determine if you're going to be happy or if you're going to dwell in sorrow
right,
and miss the mark. But if you have a good management plan, it will also determine a better result for you at the point of exit. I don't know
okay,
if
okay.
I made just
All right, all right, all right. So let me put you. So what's your management plan?
fine. I like that. So
Actually, you know what, Obi, hold that thought. Let's take a break, and then when we come back in a few seconds, you can give us the answer to that. So just before the break, Obi, you were telling us that for those who just joined, just before the break, you were telling us that actually that what makes the difference is how we manage our experiences throughout the journey of life, right? And then I asked you a question. You said everybody should have a management plan. So I then asked you a question. What is your management plan?
fine. Now, my management plan is based on my understanding of building an understanding from the experiences I've had over times, which created a better understanding of life. So I see life, like I'm explaining it now, as an experience that will throw different things at you at different points. And now, one of my management plan is the understanding first that in this journey, you will have different experiences. Now, having that knowledge that I am going to encounter different experiences, I have developed how do I call it? The
The
inner strength,
resistance. Okay.
resistance. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for future occurrences. When it's bad, when it's good. And then I have a belief system based on my religion that I've also come to believe and buy into in order to help me successfully carry my plan to the end. And that is, all things work together for good.
Wow. So
That's
so
what I believe. Exactly.
so
And so
that's
with this
your
understanding
mindset.
of all things work together for good, I am ready to approach anything and let anything approach me, but it won't stop me from moving. So I will receive everything with smile and grace.
Wow, that's a very serious plan, and it makes a lot of sense because if your faith, I know you use the word religion, but if your faith determines that you see everything actually working together for your good, whether it's good or not so good, whether it's bad or not so
Mm-hmm.
bad, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you know that everything is working together for your
Mm-hmm.
good, then
Mm-hmm.
it's easier for you to go through that journey, knowing that the outcome of it at the end of the day is going to be for your own good.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you a win-win mentality regardless,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I and I,
And I have
and
a reference point.
I huh?
I have a reference point if you want me to share.
No, please, but of course, yes, man, share, man.
Mhm. So this is one of the reasons. I talked about understanding, right? So something which other people may have, or which I intended, was didn't go in my own favor, ushered me into something better off. I had struggle, you know, in my undergraduate days, and at some point, I picked up a postgraduate form in my school, and I was denied the opportunity. And then I relocated. Now I relocated. And now look at my story today.
You located from where? From where to where?
I relocated from east
The eastern part
to
of
Lagos.
Nigeria. Okay.
Yes, from the eastern part of Nigeria to the west. And look at where I am today. Now, I was actually believing, I was believing for an appointment letter to, officially start work with the university. Because then I started doing an ad hoc work with the university and then was trying to press my button to see if I can get an appointment letter. And now look at the story. A good number of my friends and colleagues then got their own appointment paper. Okay? Over 50 persons were employed that same time, but mine didn't come. I felt that some persons played politics with mine. Okay? And I left. Few years later, another vice chancellor came in and cancelled all the whole appointment.
Wow.
All the whole appointment.
Wow.
And some of them have not been restated up to date. Some got married after they got the appointment. In fact, there was a case of one of our graduates then that got appointment, and the wife too got appointment. And the two of them lost the appointment at the same time. Family people.
Wow.
So probably I would have lost mine then. And what would have become of me? So when I sit down and I start looking at the past, and that is one thing about life, it needs you to live to an extent, to look back and run an assessment to understand how it is going forward.
You know, I hear you, brother, and I agree with you, my man, because my own experience. I know you talked about that all things are working for good, which is one of the scriptures that I stand by. But there's one about the Proverbs 3, I think it's Proverbs 3:4-5, where it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart."
All your heart.
Right? Trust in the Lord with all your heart. And then he goes on to say, "And lean not unto your own understanding.
Your own understanding.
But in all your ways acknowledge him,
Acknowledge him.
and he will direct and
It.
redirect your path." I paraphrase.
Mm.
He will direct and redirect your path, and he will make your path well. Right? It is the trusting in the Lord with all your heart. Right? Growing up, right, it was a challenge for me to trust anyone. It was a challenge for me to trust anyone. I came from a family where there was a lot of love, a lot of kindness. People were just, being themselves. But by the time I transitioned from my under my parents' roof, I went to university, right? I started dating a very fine girl on campus, very very beautiful girl on university campus.
As a handsome man.
I don't know about that. We thank God. But she was a very fine girl on campus. I was dating then, right? And I was a nice guy. That is a bobo nice, like this correct love,
I tell you.
And then just out of nowhere, she broke up with me. Broke up with me, and eventually left the country. Obviously, moved to the States. Broke up with me, and I was distraught, completely broken. I think I was shattered.
You are broken, not shattered.
I was broken. I think I was shattered. I was like, completely distraught, right? So I had to find out, why did this girl break up with me? And the key word was, oh, he's such a nice guy. She broke up with me because I was nice.
Nice guy.
Nice guy. I was like, wow. So nice guys, they board last. And from that point on, for a long time in my stages of life growing up, right?
Yeah.
I refused to become a nice guy. I just completely refused to become a nice guy. And that was my own story that took away everything to do with trusting people, being nice, right? So it was easy for me with that mindset to find myself into some other things that I got involved in on campus, and I just became very hardened inside. But there was a soft side of me that kept on crying out, because I'm very much in tune with my emotional side. Unlike most men, they're not emotionally connected. I'm very much connected to my emotional side, right? And when I say I don't want something, I don't want it emotionally. And when I say I want something, I will go for it. I don't have any problem expressing myself or showing vulnerability, right? But I found out that it just appears that when I was a bad, not so nice kind of guy, I had my way.
When you were a bad guy, you were a bad guy.
Very silly bad. You're Nigerian, I'm here. But I just had it appeared as if I had my way, right? But I knew there was something inside of me that was crying out that this hard guy, man, is not really who you are. But it was working for me. And then anytime I say, okay, you know what? Let me just try and be a nice guy. Boom! I get the same result. I'm like, man, forget it. This is the way, hard all the way through until I met Jesus. I remember I came from a Christian background, so I knew, that. But until I actually came in contact with Jesus himself, the hardest of all men, the softest of all men, that is able to endure everything to the point of death.
Yeah.
And I began to reflect on what life truly is. And all I can be is my authentic self, man. I can only be my authentic self. I can't be a Don for the rest of my life. I can only be my authentic self. And in my authentic self, I have the good and the not so good. Right? So I can only be myself. If you try and stifle me, I will snap. I can't be held bound by anything or anyone. That's just who I am. I just want to be free. I want to do what I feel like doing. Do you understand? Sometimes I'm not the best decisions in life. That's fine. But again, because I trust in him and I don't lean on to my own understanding, always direct and redirect my path to have a perfect end. It would end well.
So in other words, it is not for you to understand, it is for you to trust.
Trust. So daily, I have to build up that trust level. Sometimes I derail from it. Sometimes I find myself coming back again. It's fine. And then my vulnerability, because I'm vulnerable, and my experiences, like you were saying, my own journey of life has now allowed me to be a voice, to inspire other people, uplift other people, encourage other people, and show you the red flags. I have somebody very close to me right now that I'm talking to. If I talk to him, they go and they enter one ear, they come out the other ear. I'm telling him, dude, man, open your eye on this decision and decide what you really, really want to do. I cannot tell you what to do.
Exactly.
However, look at this, look at that, look at this, look at everybody's perspective is different. Everybody's levels of endurance is different. What you can endure, Obi, I might not be able to endure it.
Yeah, you're right.
So my perspective towards life is different.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, if we put our trust in God, that's my own philosophy. Yours is all things are working together for your own good, right?
Yeah.
That mantra means that at the end of it all, you will come up on top. There are people that I know that at one time in their life, they were like big household names in their own city, whether they were in the UK or whether they were in Lagos, Nigeria, or Abuja or somewhere in New York. Big names, like everybody knew them. They were like super, super, super. And then all of a sudden, boom, life happens. And they came down all the way down in the ladder, right? The tendency at that time is always to look back and say, oh, I used to be this, I used to be that. Everybody used to come around me. It's okay. Because it is the same you that attained that greatness, right? That greatness has not left you. It is still in you.
Yeah.
What you now have to do with the journey of life and your current experience is to look into that experience that you've had, which was good, and look into the experience that you are having right now, which is not so good, and say, I've been there. I have climbed that mountain before. So that means I can climb it and go past it again, but this time differently. Because you understand what you carry in the inside of you. God, the creator of the universe, lives inside of every one of us. And once you recognize that inside of you is God himself, the creator of the universe, the stars, the Milky Way, every single thing, it's in you. Woo! Boy, oh boy, nothing can hold you down.
I feel
my brother, my sister who's watching right now, I'm telling you, don't let anything in life hold you down.
Exactly.
Your experiences, your journey is just a journey. Until the day you stop breathing, there is always hope. You just have to surrender. Don't get too spiritual on the matter. You are not God.
Don't try to understand it all.
Don't try to understand it. Don't get too spiritual. Don't get too deep. What happens is people all of a sudden when people hit that rock bottom, right? They either run away from the things of God or they run so far into something that they believe is the things of God. And I keep on telling you, you must have balance in life. Anything you do in extreme is a problem. You must have balance. Because fear can make you start thinking that, oh, it is God talking. It is the Holy Spirit speaking. It is not. Sometimes it's not. It's just fear gripping you from stepping out. So you must have balance. Have a sound, balanced life. Because it's not about what you have the capacity to do. It is about what he has already done for you and put that capacity in you for you to have expression. For you to have expression. Enjoy the journey of life. I tell people, I can operate in the crack house and I also operate in the White House. It is the same person. One of the gifts that God has given to me, Obi, is the gift of adaptability. I can adapt in any location at any given time. There's a joy about being able to adapt. To hard times, you adapt. You bounce back. And when you bounce back, you're stretched. You're stretched, you're stretched, It's like a catapult. They stretch and they release you. Bow! You hit target, bullseye. But people get down, they start feeling, oh, woe is me. You start running away from your friends. You start hiding. That's what the enemy wants to do. He wants to put you in isolation. That's how he works. He puts you in isolation. And once you're in isolation, Bang!
You're a target.
Your meat.
You're gone.
Anum pama. Anunchi.
What does that mean?
Yeah, man. I tell you.
Honestly, I always look forward to, this show. Times like this, yeah, it's always awesome for me and refreshing, I must confess.
Well, that's God, man. So that's just my story, bro. I have learned, and I tell people around me, please, 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 don't see those tough times as those are training times. It's for us to
Yes.
know the value of life, get to appreciate life more, and he wants you to prosper as your soul prospers. He does. God genuinely loves us. It's an unconditional love. It's not about what you do or what you don't do. Don't let anyone convince you. It's not about you. You don't have the capacity to do anything. You have the ability to do it, but it's already been given to you. Obi, talk to me, man. Talk to me. Talk to me.
So I had wanted to ask you, when you were talking, at what point do you begin to understand life, or at what point should you try to understand life? Is there a manual? How do we get to begin to understand? How do we prepare ourselves?
So if we
It's a
go,
journey, if we agree it's a journey, and if it's a journey, then we will agree that for you to embark on a successful journey, you need to, sit back and count your costs before embarking. So at what point do you prepare for the life that happens, or it just happens?
well, I don't know. It'll be like life happens. I don't think you can be too prepared for life, right? You can't be too prepared for life. You can only do life, and that's why I said you just have to be a human being. We're all human beings. We're being. There's a continuity of life. You can never say, okay, this is the way life is going to turn out. You can prepare. You can do things. Go to college, have your basic education. Just do the things that you need to do as you continue. But the outcome of that, only God knows. He knows the expected end, right? Only God knows. And so, with that bearing in mind, I don't know. I don't know. I all I know is that all of us have been given a gift, and that
Yes.
is what makes room for you. I completely agree with that.
Yes. So in as much as I agree with you, I still also have something in mind, and I've been ruminating on it over time. And that is this. So, in as much as people have lived in this life, it means they have, in the course of their own journey, written a manuscript for people yet to embark on the journey. So, you have an understanding which can be a manuscript for someone who is going to come tomorrow. So can we then go back and begin to enlighten the younger generation to position their mind? I mean, I believe the preparation is the understanding of life. And when people begin to commit suicide, when people begin to allow their broken moments get into them, where those times, or people who do not have an understanding, just as you and I have. And if we can begin to spread this message, if there is a curriculum that can take it down to, to the schools, to the grassroots, to the younger ones, to prepare them on how life is, so that they have such an understanding you have now at their tender age.
Obi, the truth of the matter is, life is full of experiences.
That's what I was trying to say.
And everybody has their own journey.
Hold
on, because we're running out of time. So, bro, okay. I don't want to miss the opportunity, right? So, okay. Yeah. So we're running out of time, and we can be on this forever. So the truth of the matter is, for me, it's the Holy Bible. The Holy Bible is my manual. Why? Because my Creator, God Himself, has now written scripture and asked me to use that as my guide, right? Now, Holy Bible is accessible everywhere, even every hotel you walk into, you see the Bible right there, right? It is a question of picking it up, reading through the scriptures, understanding it, and implementing it in your personal life. That is it. You can write anything you want, even your own child. Now, you can tell them everything, but at the end of the day, they will have to go through their own experiences so that they can be formed in their own way, right? So, let's revisit that thought next week when we come back. But I want to end with this. Last week, I was sharing a story with you about how somebody asked me a question, and the person I answered, right, and something triggered. So I came to you last week, and I asked you a question. I asked you a question before we ended, and I said, "Would you do something to trigger?"
I'm waiting for something to trigger.
I asked you a question, and we ended with me putting the passport on you, right? So, okay, Obi, will you do it again?
I'll do it again.
Check your phone.
If I check my phone, I'll share a testimony next week.
Quickly, I gotta end. What is it? What happened?
I'm checking my phone. I'm checking my phone to see.
Okay. All right.
Do I check my phone here and say what I've seen in my phone?
Say what you want to say.
I'm checking my phone and I'm only seeing a missed call.
You cannot see on this call. Check your bank account.
Okay. Let me check my. Let me check. I'm checking my app. This must come.
I gotta go. Thanks, guys. Please follow us as Obi is checking his phone. Please make out time to follow us on Instagram, any of our platforms, Broken Not Shattered on IG. We need you to click on this, share it among your friends and family so that people can get to see what's going on and how God has been good to you. Ignore Obiowa.
There's no how you can ignore this. Viewers is difficult to ignore this.
Obi, we can't see it. We don't want to see. We don't want to see it, Obi. We don't want to see it.
You have to see it. They will have to see it.
They don't have to see it. Obi, listen. On behalf of all our guests and audience, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for such a wonderful. We want to thank you for joining us at this wonderful day. Our three famous words are love.
With this alert, whatever that life throws at me, I can wither it. Audience, I want to tell you, you can wither it.
Amen. So, to God be the glory. So, on behalf of the Broken Not Shattered family, those of us in the back room who are always working on us, and the new member of our team, Favor, who has joined us to turn around our presence on social media. We want to thank everyone for joining us. We need you. We thank you for all your support. Sorry for running a little late. My boy and I were just having a little fun. We thank God for everything. So again, it's love, peace, and more grace. And please join us again next week, Sunday. We have a very interesting guest who's going to be there with us. And Prince Will, the young man, has settled back in university. And to all of you who have been a blessing to his school fees and everything else, thank you. We raised a $250,000 on his behalf. So that's yeah. So he's super excited. So I want to thank all of you for giving and supporting us. This is what it's all about, Obi. Love you, my man. Until then, see you.